Welcome back to the Lounge by Travefy. I'm Stephanie Grice, and today we've officially reached the final episode of our sales workshop series, which was a 4-part deep dive into every stage of the travel sales journey. If you haven't listened to the earlier episodes yet, I highly recommend going back and checking them out. We've covered everything from creating a sales mindset, marketing, and building a sales pipeline that actually converts. And they all lead perfectly into today's topic. Because to wrap things up, we're talking about something many advisors just don't spend nearly enough time on: turning clients into lifelong fans. So this episode is all about the follow through: how to wow clients after they book, how to nurture repeat business, how to capture testimonials that actually move the needle, and how to build a referral engine that grows your business for you. So to help break it all down, I am joined by CEO and founder of TravelBash and the Biz Huddle, Courtnie Nichols, and I cannot wait for you to hear this conversation. So welcome to the lounge, Courtnie. I'm really excited for you to join us, and you are just a perfect person to have in this episode. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, me too. It's really good. And I know we have some really fun stuff. So again, the last episode, it's such a fun one. I've been looking forward to this. And to help set the stage for this chat and really just talk about why having that post-booking plan matters. Because we spend a lot of time, all the time, thinking through the pre-booking sales stage, but really just never enough about how to keep clients keep coming back in the future. So, Courtnie, I'm curious your thoughts on why do you think so many advisors just stop selling once that trip is booked?
Okay. So I feel like this is a two-part, answer, but I'm going to try to streamline it
I
so
love
we're
it.
not here all day. But for most advisors, I feel like they're still operating like service providers or order takers and not really putting their CEO or entrepreneur hat on. So a lot of times they're looking at the booking as the finish line. Like, okay, I've done all the things and we're scooting them out. That's still that transactional mindset. And so for me, I see it as the starting line for retention when they come back, because you've got to think, who is your best mouthpiece? The clients that you've wowed and you've delivered. So I always say that advisors are quick to move straight to the next inquiry because they're heads down. They're not looking, you know, tomorrow or 5 years or the client value, the lifetime value of a client, because they're probably in survival mode. There are a lot of them are chasing new leads instead of nurturing the clients they already have won. Because really, the reality is new leads are very expensive and retention is profitable. So, I know everyone probably has heard this, but it is easier to keep an existing client than to get a new one. So for me, when you stop after the booking, you're leaving repeat revenue, referrals and brand loyalty on the table.
That's so true. I love that. It's so true about it cost, it costs so much
Cost
getting
you
that
more.
first one. Yeah. And then just keep them. So keep it going. And another question here for you is how does the post booking care impact client loyalty and referrals in your experience?
Yeah, so I think post booking care is what creates loyalty. So before I was a travel advisor, I was a major gift fundraiser. So I always say this, even when I talk about my sales funnel, I started with my fundraising hat. So it works in part art, part science, but it's identification, qualification, cultivation, asking for the sale, and stewardship. So this post booking is the stewardship component in your sales cycle. And so clients really don't remember what you quoted them or you told them to go to this destination. They really remember how they felt after the trip, what all you did, how the clients felt supported, looking at their full journey, the client journey and their experiences. You have to think 3 things can happen. The post booking, how it impacts it is they can rebook faster because they're already we're so excited. This exceeded my expectations. We're ready for our next trip. They're referring more often because they're talking about their experience and the memories and the transformation that took place, because that's really what we're creating, not necessarily just we booked this hotel, we booked this. It's that transformation, those memories. A lot of the things that we're doing is priceless. And then they become brand advocates because it's like your unpaid sales team. They go out and they spread the word. So for me, your post booking care is the number one driver of profitability in your travel business, hands down. and it doesn't cost you anything. You've delivered great service.
Yes, I know. See, the mic drop. That is why we had you on this because it's so important. And I want to dig into something that you were talking about here because you were
Mhm,
talking about, that whole experience. Because
mhm,
one of my favorite areas of the sales workflow when I get to talk to, other advisors and industry colleagues like yourself is making those wow moments. Before the trip even ends.
correct.
And so I want to talk about that because that is huge. And what are some few simple ways that advisors can surprise or delight clients before, during a trip, or what are the things that you've done in your experience?
Yes, so there's several things. I mean, it goes back to your individual client. You know them. You know, I say I get to know the ins and out of my clients. Like I know if they drink a gin and tonic, it's not Hendrix, it's Monkey 47. He doesn't like feather pillows. He likes foam. They have a daughter named Maddie. They have a dog named Cedar. Like so the more you know about them, the better you can create those surprising delights. But I mean, even simple things from a personalized pre-trip video or no something in destination. Like for instance, I had a client that owns a Kenny Wallen painting. They're big into art. And for them, they were just thinking they were going to do an art tour, but for it to be shut down and them to be able to talk through to the artist and resident and curator, that was like big. Like he's big into art or like those foodie experiences where you can have the chef come out and do those touches. I always say the check-ins that you can do, flagging their stay with your team and arranging some type of welcome touch outside of what the hotel already provides, which is usually a bottle of champagne or not, or fruit or whatever platter, but like curating a restaurant list or itinerary. We do playlists even for them on Spotify based on the things we know about them and the destination that they're traveling. And most of the times these cost almost nothing. And it's for you to communicate. So it's like something that you can build into your process and have those touch points at some point, from the first time that you send over that quote and they inquire about a specific destination to by the time they get home. There's several things that you can do because a lot of us are booking travel not 2 months out or 3 months out. Sometimes it's a year before they travel. So, what are the things we can do in between to get them excited, that are meaningful, that are personalized, that go with the trip that they're taking? Also, that is about them, not about you. So a lot of times when I say not about you is a lot of times we love to send them gear that has our name and our logo. That's about us. That's not about them. So I always give them gifts that are specific to them or surprising delights that don't say TravelBash or TRVLB or Courtney. It's not about me. I always look at it like Donna Miller with Story Brand. We're just the guide. We're not the hero. You want them to be the hero in the story. So all the surprise and delight should be about them. You're just guiding them along their journey. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's so cool. And now I want to take a trip with you because this is so cool because all of the thought that goes into that. Now, you did mention because I know a couple of things that always whenever we talk about this topic, especially newer advisors, they're like,
Yeah.
"How do I set aside money for this, or should I set aside
Yeah.
money?" Or I mean, you gave a lot of examples, and there's so many free things you could do by adding, like the playlist and the itinerary. But
Correct.
how do you use that, or how have you do that in your workflow? Do you sit and think like, what should I give them, or do you usually have a set thing, or how does that work?
So we have a standard kind of gift policy depending on the type of client. So Travel Bash specializes in destination weddings, but outside of that, I have a division of Travel Bash, which is TRVLB, which is a high-end, high-touch retainer. So everybody gets an onboarding gift, what that looks like, because of the tier and what they're paying. Just like as when a new couple signs on, they get a Mrs. or like you're engaged type of thing. And then also I worked with a local, it's called the Chandlery, a local candle maker that we created a custom scent for our clients. So everyone before they travel will get that. So like we've set in the budget of like, oh, they've spent this much, it gets you this tier. I hate for it to be like one of those games where you have this many points, you unlock this. Oh, you got this many points, you unlock this. But it's one of those things that like if you are thinking about costs and the return on investment and like, okay, I'm just starting and I don't have all this money to put in it. It's like, okay, are you building that into your service fee or what, you're charging? Also, are you looking at the commission and what you're getting? Like, I look at everything of what this client is going to bring me, especially for my retainer clients where I know how much they're spending a year. And because it works on a referral basis, what they're bringing me, the lifetime value, that little money that I give for a gift, even if it's $500, is nothing in comparison of what I'm getting. So that's the way I look at that. I kind of break it down. But even when you're like, well, I don't even have 100 to break down. Like, again, there's things that you can do that go a long way that cost you nothing. And people still forget part of this stewardship or this post booking or, like this retention. There's nothing says thank you or I appreciate you like a handwritten note. And that doesn't have to be, sometimes people wait to do notes upon return. But what about when they first book with you? Thank you for trusting me. We're so glad that you're a client. We're treating you well. It's kind of like dating your spouse. What happens is you get married and you stop dating. So the same thing with your clients. You need to date your clients. You can't just be like, oh, I know them front and back, and they always are going to book this trip to me every year, or they're going to come to me about this trip or that trip. We almost start taking them for granted and start looking other places, but those are our people. And so we need to kind of, let them know how much they mean to us because we wouldn't be in business without.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And see, this is such a perfect bookend to our whole sales workshop series because, we talk about so much of how do we get more in? How do we
Right.
get them? How do we get them through the funnel? And it's not, and then we haven't really talked about this point that you're bringing up of like, build that relationship. You're
Right.
in the business for them. They are the important. I love that. And this really does truly give you that opportunity to pause and let them know how special they are that, they're doing business with you and let's show them how much you
Yes.
care.
I mean, even just one other note. Another thing that just kind of comes to mind is people forget to personalize.
Yeah.
They're not robots. I know we use templates. AI is huge now. I use AI, we automate, but like even their name or talking to them, knowing again, I just said my client has a dog named Cedar. We sent Cedar a birthday gift. Cedar has his own Instagram. So why wouldn't we send, like we are just following their journey. We're following along with if you have their social, if you're doing these, like you can have touch points from the pre-trip check-in, that mid-trip, post-trip. There's certain things like you can personalize that doesn't cost you anything and makes them think like, oh my gosh, they thought of me at this time. That is not necessarily time consuming. It's more intentional. And again, it doesn't cost a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself on some of the questions I want to ask you, but
Yeah.
what about do you do also like birthday or do you keep like if it's your anniversary or birthday, do you keep things ready to go for those type of milestones?
Yes, I do. We do birthdays, even like passport needs to be renewed. People forget about that. And they're like, oh. So like to have something like, hey, it's been a minute, check your passport, like it's getting ready to expire within 6 months. We're here for you for your next trip. Like just any type of touch point. It's even one of those things that I learned as a fundraiser. When I used to have donors that were in the news or like they were featured in something, I would cut out the newspaper clipping or the article and then write them a note and send it to them. I mean, why can't you do that? Maybe you see that one of your clients got promoted in their job. You know what I mean? Like it's the same, right? Oh, maybe you saw that their daughter just graduated from college. Maybe you didn't even know they had maybe this was the first time booking. Like you doing a little bit more research and then finding out about them. And again, hey, I just saw you where you were nominated this, or you just won an award, or oh my gosh, Maddie's 18 now. It seemed like she was just 10 when we booked that first trip to Hawaii. Here's something XYZ, graduate, like following those life moments. That's part of what we create and being a part of that inner circle. Again, to kind of get out of that transactional mindset and that one off and that like I'll just wait for them to come to me. No, you have to be proactive. We're not order takers. Like we're setting the tone. They're our clients. And so for me, it makes more sense and it makes more money when you take that approach versus like, oh, I know they only book one trip. I'll just wait. What? They could book more if you went to them. I see a lot of advisors that don't even use their email list. They have like over 1,000 people sitting there, but they never talk to them. They're like, oh, they might not want it. Why don't they? They've been waiting for you to send them. They've signed up for it. So they're looking for you to share ideas. The next go-to place is like, what do you have going on? They're interested. How many things have we unsubscribed to in our emails that we love? We don't. The stuff we don't, then we unsubscribe. But the stuff we like and we want to know, oh my gosh, Black Friday's coming up. We want that sale. we're gonna be like, we're getting ready to get that email. I can't wait till it comes out. We're gonna see what they have. Same thing.
It's
Yeah.
so true. And I'm a huge fan of, especially because travel, I mean, come on, we're the coolest industry. And I love getting emails. I get some emails from advisors that
Yeah.
I really look forward to reading because they're authentic, they're true about like travel. They're
Mm.
not trying to sell you anything. They're
No.
just telling you what's, like I just booked clients doing this, and that stuff
Correct.
is so cool. And you can do that. Like, everyone listening can do those types of things because we have access to that type of content.
Exactly. And educating. I just put
Yeah.
out something today about, oh my gosh, Delta has a new comfort fare, like 3 different things. They've broken it down 3 times. Like, we are the experts, we are knowledgeable. That's what they come to us for. So, like, share that information with them. You know what I mean? Like, because we're top of mind. You're trying to stay top of mind. Like, oh my gosh, when they think of travel, they think of you. We're the expert. Like, oh my gosh, I just saw something from Courtney, or oh, I just got this email, this, or like she's my go-to. And they'll forward it to people. Like, girl, did you know this? But yeah, my girl sends me, oh yeah, you need to do this. Now you can have your passport on your Apple wallet phone. What? I didn't know. Yeah, girl, you got to get signed up. My girl tells me all the stuff. I
It's
mean, it's a no-brainer.
it really is. I know, that's so good. The referral ooh, and we're gonna get into the referrals too, because I think that's the big thing, and that's what all of this really does start to add up. You're taking care of your clients, and then they're recommending, all that. But
Hmm.
one thing that I did wanna talk about, though, is it's something that does come up a lot is turning testimonials into your marketing, like, gold pretty much.
Yes.
And I really do, referrals is one thing, but also just getting those testimonials because we hear a lot of times, advisors don't even ask. They don't follow up. They don't even like ask like how the trip went or like a testimonial. So how can advisors naturally ask for testimonials or
Yes.
reviews without feeling awkward? Because I'm sure that's kind of why they're like,
I
just let me
know.
know if you need me, but I'm gonna leave you alone now.
And that's why I believe in SOPs and workflows, and it's automated. So for us, automatically after your trip, you're already going to get an email. So basically, your feedbacks helps us design better experiences for travelers just like you. It feels collaborative. They're like, oh, let me tell you, it's not uncomfortable. Like they're like, oh, they want to do better. And if you're delivered well, clients are happy to share. So we've automated that process. And then when it's not one of those things that we've automated and then we left it. We have a follow-up because we know that that first email might not be enough. Think about our attention spans and go through that. How many times you're like, oh, I was supposed to get to that. I didn't. Oh man, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, and then something else comes up. So like we send the email, but then we also do a follow-up. And then we also do a personalized, like we have SMS messages like, hey, we haven't heard from you. We want to know how your trip goes. Like, let's follow, let's talk. So like we have it automated in our process with a few different emails. We always follow up with a SMS message. And then I myself reach out to the clients and want them to know, like, hey, I would love to schedule a call to take a few minutes and chat through what went well, what were the highlights, what you thought we could have done better, or is there anything from the partners that we've chosen that you're like, suspect. So like it's me personally reaching out to them. But again, the easiest way is automate. It's just one of those things when people are scared to charge fees. My thing is if you have an inquiry process and it automatically says it, you never have to tell the client, oh, I charge fee or an awkward conversation. Because automatically when they get the inquiry form and then they get the autoresponder and or the follow-up to that, it already lays out your pricing. So you don't have to stumble or like, oh, I'm a little nervous. I don't know if I charge. Same way with the testimonials. We'll do the same thing. And then we'll even like so like for TravelBash, because destination weddings, we always say the couple is our actual client. Their guests are client, but not the actual client. Does that make sense? So what we do is give them incentives to leave a review referral. We might say you'll enter, we'll pick the top 3 names, enter win a gift card to somewhere. We always like Grubhub or like an Uber Eats, something like that. Or we've done Starbucks gift cards just in our newsletters. So like the people on our list, we were trying to get feedback from and just, hey, what trips do you want to see? Different things like that. People, we would send over a $5 Starbucks, like, hey, coffee on us. We've done that before. So like we kind of tried different avenues as far as like sticking it in emails, made it type things, follow up with SNS, SMS, but then also little incentives. And again, a $5 coffee versus, it's not saying that we're going out and saying your next trip is free. We're just giving them a little thing. Or even with the referrals, like especially for like the wedding guests, because they're not our actual client that we worked with. Remember, the client hired us and then they were just like, hey, we have our travel. So we'll be like, on your next trip, because we want to turn them into clients. Like, you leave this referral, you get 250 off your next travel, your trip plan in XYZ. So that's what we do for TravelBash. And like for my retainer referrals, I do a blueprint call. So I treat them kind of, because there's high end, high touch. They paid a lot of money. We do quarterly calls to see, because what we're doing is like how you have portfolio planning in your finances, we do portfolio planning in your travel. So I know a year out where you're going, what your goals are, all of that. So in one of our quarterly calls, when we're going through like, has this changed? Do you have a launch coming up? Did you end up selling that business? How did this go through? You ready to dump some money here? That then on that quarterly call, I had that conversation of like how things are going. And like we work on referrals. And so it's important, like we're part of your inner circle and we want you to connect us to your other inner circle. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's incredible. I feel like everyone listening right now is just like notes, 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 so many notes right there. That's awesome. That is really cool. I love the system that you built. And
Mhm.
what about how long do you wait until you do that reach out after they get back from a trip?
So it's automatic. Literally, when they get back within the first 3 days, they're going to get that first email of like, let's review, let's do this. And then there's a 5 day and then a 7 day, and then after the 7th day, that's when they'll get the SMS or I'll reach out to schedule a call. So we want to get them right when they get back, because you got to think they're on the high. They're excited, like, oh my gosh, you exceeded our expectations. We were unsure. We knew it was going to be good. But so, like, we want to capture them right then, because the longer you take, the longer, again, life, and you start doing this. You got to get this person back in school. The dog's here. You start going in daily life. So literally, they get back, they get the email. It'll automatically follow up again in 2 more days, which is the 5th day, and then another 2 days, which is 7th day. Then you'll get an SMS message, and then you'll get a personal phone call. We don't play. Like, we're serious about the reviews because that's important to us. It tells us how we can get better. It also helps us, especially in the day and age with Google and AI, like you are who you say you are, you're reputable. People are actually using you, you're in business, you know, you're having good results. Also, it gives us, we take it a step further. After the testimonials and after the review, me and my team actually, we do a lessons learned Google Doc of all of the trips booked and say it's from the behind the scenes of what's gone good, what went well, what could have gone better, what do you think we should cut out or like streamline. This process was a little messy, or like some guests had questions, or there was confusion here. And based on our reviews, here's what they're saying. So we are actually behind the scenes utilizing that feedback to improve our processes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one other thing that I wanna go back to that I've never heard before, and I love the idea, is a quarterly calls.
Yes.
So, how do you get those? Like, do you ever experience the issue of, like, they don't reply, or do you schedule them, like, in advance? Or if you're trying to, like, "We need to get this on the calendar," and they're not, like, replying back to you, like, what does that system look like?
So for us, again, it's automated.
Mhm.
However, for my retainer clients, they're not as leisurely clients, or like we're once in a year, twice a year. They're a little more well traveled, high net worth. So they're more engaged. You know what I mean? Like they understand. And so that after that first blueprint call, we called it like our onboarding call. That first quarterly call is actually scheduled. We don't schedule the next three, but that first one is already scheduled on the calendar and they've gotten an invite. So they already know a few months out or 3 months out that like we had this call. Now, sometimes maybe their admin might say, hey, he had something that came up. We need to switch this off. We just put it on the schedule, but it's already scheduled. So we can figure out, hey, has anything changed, or do we need to shift this? Or like now it started with you and your wife, but now it's going to be you, your wife, the kids. You know what I mean? Like we're just, also it's a check-in. Girl, how's life? Just like you're picking up with a friend. Like, oh my gosh, Stephanie, I didn't know we haven't done this. You're talking through before you even talk business. Like, what's going on? What's new? Oh my gosh, let me tell y'all, I moved to Philly. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. Or I don't like the weather. They're like, oh my gosh, you're in Philly, Courtney. I have a client in New York. I need to match you guys. Like, he would be perfect for you. So you see how it just natural conversation. I'm like, great, let's do that. Because this is the thing, your best clients, they want to give you testimonies. They want to review. It shouldn't be, those should be your, again, biggest mouthpiece. It shouldn't be an awkward conversation, because if you've delivered well and they know you and they're your clients and they book everything through you, it should be a no brainer. We've actually started adding more video with our testimonials as well. Like, yeah, we want to start capturing like people's faces and conversations for like I know people use reviews several different ways. Like I might embed in my newsletter or sometimes even in my proposals of like, here's what such and such said so they know. But also people love social media. So like a video story is gonna do better than me just saying, oh, Stephanie loved my trip playing the XYZ. But if I can have pictures or I can do video and they're talking, people resonate with that. Great for sales pages or your service pages on your website. Great for that.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I was actually gonna ask you that too, is what do you do with those? And I also wanna go back, how do you record them? Because do you just use, like, Zoom, or do you
Yeah,
have them
so
do it on their own?
Loom, they've used Loom before, the same thing that I use to send them my recording to do all the pre-trip videos or itinerary proposal or walking them through. They've done a quick little thing on their phone and text me or text Steph on my team, and then she uploads it, and then we like if we wanna use YouTube, like, you have to embed the link because you can't just put the video into an email. So then we have to like, it's not public facing, but, like, on the TravelBash YouTube, like that video is on there and then we just link to it in the email so then we can show them, oh my gosh, Keith and Diana's wedding was amazing, it was the wedding of the year, look at all the things. So they're like, oh my gosh, they had this dancer, this, so they can visually see what we can do, how we can
Yes.
put things together. So we'll just have them do a quick little thing on their phone. I used to use a video app. Have you ever heard of, it's Bonjour?
No, if I
Have you ever heard of
have.
that? Bonjoro, Bonjoro. It's a video engagement platform, but like before we kind of had an integrated CRM, part of the workflow or our system was everybody knows that when someone's onboarded, they might have just spoken to me because I usually close all the sales. Well, day to day, you probably won't talk to me. You'll talk to Ashley or Lex or people on my team. So they would record a Bonjoro video and send it to the client. The clients would get excited because they weren't using. They're like, "Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm going to handle all your guests travel. I'm going to be your go-to XYZ." They see their face, and then you can respond directly to the Bonjour, and they can video back.
That
And I was on the
is
free version.
cool.
There is a paid version, but I did the free version. Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Oh, that is cool. I love that. That
yeah.
is so awesome. And I love too, like you're just using, I like how what it reminded me of is almost like they're almost like case studies, like your videos, and like especially with Destiny, perfect for that type too. Like
Hmm.
if that is really cool. Oh, I love that.
And I might
And
even show them the process. Like sometimes behind the scenes, like me and my couples will be on the call with the wedding planner. I'll take a picture. I'm like, hey guys, I need to take a picture. So I can script the journey. So like first call, this was us. And then here's with the wedding planner. And then to the day of, and then have them send the picture so they can see the beginning to the end.
yeah. Oh, that's sweet. Well, I'm definitely gonna put your YouTube. I'll put your YouTube in the show notes. I'm sure a lot of people want to go look at that because that is
Well, the one
pretty
thing is they
cool.
might not see because remember, it's on the back end, so it's not shown because it's an
True.
internal link because it's going to through my newsletter. I want it to be in my newsletter. So that's another good thing. Like, you don't just have all these random videos out there to where if you are trying to put it on my newsletter, because this is another thing. Part of your newsletter, you're saying join my newsletter because my clients are the people you want. So if you give it to everybody, then it's not exclusive. Remember, you're trying to be like, oh, I'm your go-to. Yeah.
That's so true. Okay, I love that. That is another good point, is the exclusivity. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Well, you kind of already answered this, but are there any other creative examples of what you've done or you've seen other advisors do to turn happy clients into some of their best marketing? Because you just gave some examples already.
Yeah, I mean, I love client spotlights, like quick recaps of trips. I know Belvin, a colleague of mine, like he has a podcast, but his video he does on LinkedIn, and he like captures so much with the drone. Like, I think that's great. Also, we turn like text messages into like stylish graphic quotes. The girl on
Cool.
my team, like she's good at that. And so I think that advisors are underestimating the power of like user generated content. Sometimes even when they're just taking photos, I'm like, hey, can we use that? Or we'll have them send us photos and then we'll turn it into something like clients sharing a room on a tour or a dining experience on social, like things that they have actually posted, reposted that are real in real time. Because really social, it doesn't have to be perfect or like, staged or super curated. People want to see real people. And so we'll just ask for us to use it and then we'll put an overlay or sometimes I do an audio over it. Yeah, and we'll send it out or we'll put it in things to share. with others.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, and I know Canva has so much stuff too. Like Canva has
That's
those
what I use. That's
templates.
our go-to.
I was gonna
Yes.
say I've seen so many templates that you could do that. But actually it's funny that you say this because on our episode right before this one, our guest was talking about how she does the same. She'll like screenshot messages and sometimes just upload them to an Instagram story. So the real time effect. Like
Yeah.
you said, you don't have to you can curate it easily and but you still also don't really it can be in
No.
real time,
We
which is cool.
plugged them into we've literally taken screenshots of text and plugged it in our email newsletter, and she's like, "Girl, he didn't wanna pay for this, and now look at us, we had to do this." And then we'll circle back to where, like, one of our clients end up booking her 40th birthday, but after the first time when she wanted to book and her husband's like, "I don't think we need to book," so we'll do it before and after, like, show the trip and after, like, just a bunch of different things. Like, my girl on my team, like, she's so creative. I can't even take credit. Like some of the times I'll come up with ideas, but she's great at coming out up with ideas. And then I'm like, okay, so you ready to execute it? And then she gets quiet. I'm like, nope, you already said it now, so let's do it.
That is so cool. I know, I love that. And also even we have someone on our Bonnie, shout out. She
Mhm.
does a lot of our stuff. And it's just there's certain people that are I wish I could be better at it, but there's some people who just get it so quick. And I'm like, I would have
Yeah.
never thought of that. That's amazing. But I will say ChatGPT is also a really cool resource. If you're looking for
Of
ideas,
course it
I'm
is.
always on that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. It's perfect.
I yeah. Oh, so many ideas. I love that. Now, I want to round us out here by just kind of talking a little bit more on the referrals and like asking people because the other thing that happens is because you've given so many great examples, but one thing I know that happens, especially for newer advisors, is that
Mhm.
it's like asking for it, like asking for the referral or like how do you encourage clients to refer friends just without sounding pushy? Because I know it sounds like you do get a natural opportunity to
Yeah.
sometimes put that forward, but how like when you were starting out, how did you kind of approach that when you might have been like, "Ooh, I don't know how to
I
ask for
know.
this?"
So the one thing about me that everybody, if they know me, knows I don't have any lack of confidence. So that's always been in my favor. I was never like I'm always putting my business out there and in front of people, and I'm never scared or ashamed about it because I feel like if I don't do that, I'm not in service of others. Like it's selfish of me to not share a solution that people are looking for. That's the way I look at it. And so I just often like with friends and family, because obviously a lot of times when you're starting out, friends and family aren't going to be your clients. Like let's just put that out there. Like it's one of those things. I mean, I know people think it should be that, but like a lot of times they're like, "Oh, girl," because a lot of times they see you in a different light, or they know you from past, and they're like, it's hard to put two and two together, and they want a deal or a hookup and all of that. But let's just say there are friends or families or people in your network, or you're out and about. I always just say, hey, if there's anyone you care about, you love that is planning something special, I'd love to take care of them too. It's warm, it's sincere, and it works. It's not pushy. You don't have to be like, "Oh, I run this and they need to do that, and here's my card." No. Hey, if you hear something, maybe you're at work and your coworker says, "Yeah, we're looking to do a river cruise through Europe." Well, I have somebody, or my daughter's getting married. Like it's a simple like if you know someone, if you hear of someone, if there's someone you care about or love, like let that be the gift. I would love to help them. I would love to take care of them. And you might even throw in there like, "Hey, you refer me this person. Let me show you what I can do." You know what I mean? Like maybe you even give them something. I don't know what that looks like, barter something or a percentage or like some type of trip, something. But like there's ways to do it that's very natural. That isn't that elevator pitch, benign networking, tell me who you got. Like it doesn't have to be like that. It's just a simple people have to know what you're doing in order for them to refer you. And you have to tell them or teach them how to refer you. Because if I just say I'm a travel agent, that travel agent or travel advisor, people still don't know how to refer you because guess what? If I just go and say, "Oh yeah, I'm a travel agent. If you know anybody traveling," and then they send me somebody who does Disney and I don't do Disney, how can I be mad at them? I didn't tell them who I serve, what I offer, like who it's for. I just said I'm a travel. That's so random and so broad. You know what I mean? So you have to share and give them information and invite them. I mean, even if you didn't even want to say, "Hey, if there's someone that's planning something special," just say, "Hey, you know, I have a newsletter. I send emails weekly on travel. You should get on my list because X, Y, and Z." And then when they're on the list, it's automatic. Like on our list, it's like, does a friend need to see this or to refer? Like you can forward it. You know how now on emails they can be like, who else do you need to share this with? Or did this such and such. Like I've even done it. I'm like, oh yeah, she needs to see this. So then they can just refer to that person. Now you have people that you didn't say that were actually going to be clients are going to buy, but what they're doing is learning how to know, like, and trust you. Because I always say the sales process starts as soon as someone consumes your content, not when they get on the call. So wherever they find you, whether that's top of funnel, social media, a podcast, on your newsletter, that's where they're developing that relationship with you, even if you don't know. They're already scanning. They're already going to research. They're looking for you. They're trying to buy from someone they know, like, and trust. And maybe at this point, they're not problem aware. Maybe they're not aware that they have a problem. They think, oh, I always plan all our trips, this and that. So maybe getting on your email list or that you sharing with them, now they're like, oh, I'm problem aware, but like, I don't know who's the solution. Now you're making yourself the solution where like, I need her services. And so basically all your content has done is sold them. So then when you get on the call, you're not having to be like convincing or my price. No, they have from top of the funnel to middle to they've done you have laid everything out for them to where now on the call it's more about fit and how you can help to move forward. And so I know I kind of went off on the tangent because we were talking about how we can refer friends or, like how we can refer people, but like all of this goes together.
No, I love that. That's awesome. This is awesome. It's so true. And it goes back to everything that we've been talking about. It's like staying on top of mind,
Correct.
building these relationships, doing all. Yes, it does. It just all comes together.
Hmm.
Now, some final questions I have because
Yeah.
now everyone listening, they're like, oh my gosh, there's so many good ideas. But if you were to tell an agent that wants to start improving their post booking process this week, like right now,
Hmm.
what is one small thing that you would recommend them do, like, today?
Automate one check-in email or text feed or something in your workflow. Look at your workflow and audit it and figure out where you can add some touch points and in that actual testimonial or referral email, because this is the thing that can be automated. You can even put in there like, hey, if there's someone that is planning this, think of us. I forgot to say this, by the way. It just made me think of this because you said that, like, how can you improve? So for TravelBash specifically, I know I told you we did automated emails and all of this, but for all of their guests, we send a postcard. And it's so cute. Like I use Postable. Someone on my team goes in. We had a graphic designer create a cute little front, you know, piece. And then we automatically have the writing in there. And it's from Courtney and Team Travel Bash. And so when they get that post, because you got to think they're not the clients, they get home. We send it the day of travel. So, like, say if the wedding's on that Saturday, everybody's traveling on that Tuesday and Wednesday. We know people coming in and out, but whenever the first person travels, that's when we set it up to be mailed. So when they get home, it's already in the mail. And to see the postcard, Travis, thank you so much. We're so glad you had fun at Steph and Dusty's wedding. If you're planning a lifetime celebration, think of us. Until next time, cheers to new adventures, Courtney and Team Travel Bash. It's a postable. They always run deals and all that. We don't pay, less than 100. I think the last postcard, it depends on how many rooms are. We do it one per room. Like if it's a couple, but if it's two people, two different addresses, we'll send it. But like $40, $50, $70, depending on how many people, but like that's an easy thing. Just imagine you get home and you're not even a client. You're like, oh my gosh, they handled this with so much care. Her team did X, Y, and Z. And now I have this postcard and it's like, you thought of me. So sorry. It just made me think about it in my head. But really, going back to your question is automate the email. Take a look at your workflow. First of all, if you don't have workflow, that's the first thing. We got to get your workflow. Then once you have one, let's audit it and see what is one email we can automate, or are there touch points within your workflow that we can add? And then go ahead and add that testimonial and referral email in there.
Yes, I love that. That's okay, another really good idea, the postable, what a cool thing, and
Yeah.
you just do that, like, online, right? Like, you don't have to
What? Yeah, we
manually
don't even have
do
to do
it.
anything. And
Yeah.
then the customer service and all that's good. I got Scott's number randomly offline and I text him because apparently someone on my team sent the email or sent the cards too early. I was like, no, they don't leave. And I called him and the CEO actually picked up the phone. He's like, I'll get this stopped. This is net and we'll get that out the next week. And yeah, so like I'm in love. And they're really nice cards and they're mailed for you on your behalf. You don't have to do anything. You just upload the guest list like from your Excel or wherever, take from your CRM, upload it up there and all that, just cross check. Again, we already have the graphic design. You can use their designs, but obviously, I'm fancy. So I had my graphic designer create our own, like with our brand colors and all of that. And we've already put it in there. So whether you're a destination wedding or your luxury group trip or whatever, like we have the different templates. So my team already knows we have an SOP around it, what to do, when, bam, hit it. And they
Oh, it's
always
so
have deals. Yeah.
that's so cool. Sorry, I'm dissecting this now. I love this.
Yeah.
This idea is so good. So on that card though, the postcard, like, is there any like soft pitches to it, or is it truly just like thank you for this experience and like do
Yeah.
you add anything to it, or is it pretty simple?
So literally on our actual postable, like the graphic, so the front part of it is like thank you and then our TravelBash logo. And then on the when they flip it, it's like welcome home. We hope you had a fantastic I'm just saying random names, John and Jenny's wedding in Mexico, or Jane 40th birthday. It was an absolute pleasure to help organize this trip and we can't wait for the next one. If you ever need help throwing an unforgettable celebration abroad, please keep us in mind. We'd love the opportunity to make travel magic with you again. Until then, cheers, Courtney and Team Travel Bash.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Oh, I love that. That's so cool and so smart too. I was going to do a shameless plug here on
Mhm.
Travefy. If you're a Travefy user, you can automate some of this stuff. I know that you can do like tasks. You can automate a task that, hey, remember to send that postable or do that. Or if
Yeah,
you want to
the
automate an
reminder thing.
email.
Yeah, y'all
Yeah.
built your yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's the crazy. It is all from like just this past year. Like it's very new, and so that and actually, I think in all of these episodes so far in Sales Workshop, we've kind of I think automation has came
Yeah.
up every single time.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So I love that. That's such a good tip. Well, Courtney, this is seriously so awesome. Is there anything else that we're missing that you feel like is good to include? And also, where can users find you, or where can people
Yeah.
find you online?
I think the closing thought, like if they ask you like, what's the one thing? I always say like if you want lifelong fans or loyal, clients, I feel like you've got to build a business that behaves like you expect them to. And that's consistent, intentional, and always growing. That's like that's it. And so where you can find me is I'm a little untraditional in the travel industry in that my playground is not Instagram and Facebook, it's LinkedIn. I post Monday through Friday every day. This whole year, I have not missed a day. So, like, I respond to all my DMs, I comment on people's posts, and like post every day religiously. So, if you want to play with me or have questions, find me on LinkedIn. Obviously, I have multiple websites from travelbash.com, travel-bash.com, TRVLB Club. If people are interested, I know people ask me about how did you start a retainer? What does that look like? I have that one, CourtnieNichols.com. But the Biz Huddle, I got to do a shameless plug. Yes. So a lot of this, that what Travefy does and the education and the building a business, the behind the scenes, not necessarily the actual selling travel or the destination, but if you're really looking to like grow, scale, and build and get more of this type of conversation, that's where the business huddle I feel like comes into play. And so it's the bizhuddle.com, and you can go to that website and look at what we're getting into for this coming year and find out more information as well. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And see, everyone, see why I brought Courtney on? She is awesome, and you can get more of her. So that's what's so cool. So thank you so, so much. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's such an important thing, and I can't believe we're wrapping up the final episode of
I know.
Sales Workshop, and this was such a beautiful way to do it. I love this, and if all of you have been following along, whether we've been, you joined us on the episode about mindset, marketing, workflow, now post-booking follow-throughs, you should now have a very good picture of a strong, sustainable sales process.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I know, and there's a lot to it, but it can be simplified, which I think is the thing I've realized with all these episodes, which is so cool. And if you missed any of those episodes, definitely circle back, go give them a listen. They truly do all build on each other. And don't forget, even though this episode of the series is wrapping up, we'll have new episodes of The Lounge, and new episodes of The Lounge will continue dropping. So be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening to stay updated on what's coming next. So if today's conversation sparked ideas or gave you a few aha moments, which it had to have because this was so good, share it with another advisor who could use a little inspiration also in their sales journey. And before you go, be sure to also subscribe to the Travefy newsletter to stay up to date on all the new features, our upcoming webinars, and more ways that we're supporting your business. And that link you'll find in the show notes. So thanks again for joining us. And as always, stay inspired, keep selling smarter, and we'll catch you on the next flight.